So welcome everyone for our webinar in refrigeration to the Lifeline to protect pharmaceuticals and to eliminate waste. Special welcome to two of my guests, JP from Cold Chain Sciences in Canada, and to Dor from Znergy. Welcome, gentlemen. Good afternoon and good morning.
Hi.
Hello.
Happy to be here.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you very much for actually doing this webinar. It's always good to chat with you and also to educate just all of us on what's happening in refrigeration and in the pharmaceutical space. Also wanted to let everyone know that this webinar is being recorded. So just FYI. My name is Govi Rao, CEO of Phase Change Solutions, and thrilled to be here with JP and with Dor. Why don't I do a quick introduction? I run Phase Change Solutions along with an amazing leadership team. We're based in North Carolina with efforts to open branches around different parts, satellite branches in different parts of the world, largely to service OEM partners and customers and strategic alliance partners like Dor and JP in Canada and Israel. So without much ado, why don't I let JP and Dor introduce themselves, and we'll get into the discussion here. So JP, do you want to go first and introduce yourself?
Sure thing. So thank you very much, Gobi. And so my name is Jean-Philippe. I'm the founder and CCSO at Cold Chain Science. We're a Canadian company specialized in the development and of cold chain management services and solutions. We service the whole country in the east coast of the US with our environmental monitoring system, our packaging solutions, our calibration lab, our compliance services, and also our wonderful Apollo panels, which we'll be discussing today.
Excellent. Thanks, JP. Thank you again for joining us in this conversation. Dor, you want to introduce yourself as well?
Yes, hello everyone. My name is Dor. I'm from Israel, CEO of a company named Znergy. We also providing various solutions for both pharmaceutical industry, but also for the food industry, maintaining the temperature in the exact range. And I also thank you very much, Govi Pallavi, for having us here today. We are partner of PCS for the last almost 9 years now, and always good to do business with very good people. So thank you very much.
Oh, thank you, Dor. Appreciate that, and thanks for taking time in the middle of your day there. So Dor comes to us from Israel and JP from Canada. So thrilled to have both of them here. So what we want to spend time today on is understanding the idea of protecting pharmaceuticals using temperature. Obviously, as we all know, that's one of our biggest challenges in here. I just want to kind of set the stage. Every year, we hear from pharmaceutical companies and from third-party logistics companies about the value of loss of pharmaceuticals that have to be thrown away from refrigerators around the world because either the compressor is blown out or there's a power failure or something else happens. Either way, this is usually the number varies between $35 and $40 billion worth of pharmaceuticals that get thrown away. And a big chunk of that is because of temperature excursions in these refrigerators. It happens in pharmacies, happens in retail outlets, happens in stores across the board, doctors' offices, hospitals, etc. And that's kind of the context of what we've been working with from the pharmaceutical industry. And I'm going to ask JP and Dor. Dor, maybe you can start with your experience of what trends you have seen in the marketplace that gave you the idea of going after this segment and this market and this application of our BioPCM material. So can you talk a little bit about the trends, Dor, to start with, and then we'll switch to JP?
Yeah, sure. So the pharmaceutical industry and specifically pharmacies that are basically spread all over Israel or whatever country it is. So we have problems with the grid, the power grid, and it doesn't need to be only catastrophical problems like a whole city that goes completely off grid. We also suffering here in Israel from what we call the micro power outages, like so the specific building or sometimes even a specific floor is getting off the grid due to various reasons, right? So the challenges that our customer faced before the Apollo panel was very, very immense, because it can be during the night without having anyone in the pharmacy to deal with the problem. And they just used to throw away medicines and vaccines, very expensive ones, due to rising of temperature. So that was like a really, really big problem for them. And that's why we decided here in Znergy to chase after a solution. And we found that the Apollo panels are very, very suitable to address this issue, because it can bring the people the right solution for a very, very annoying problem. And obviously, as you also know, it's not only the cost of the goods, but it's also the challenges of the operational chain behind it. So a pharmacist can get a phone call in the middle of the night and running to his or her pharmacy to save the medicines, and it was a very big problem.
Thanks, Dor. That's actually good to know. You talk about microgrid challenges in your end that can happen just at a floor of a building, not just the entire grid per se or the whole city, right? Let me switch to JP. JP, from your side, I know you're talking about Canada. Most people assume that we won't have power outages, etc. Especially in the Western Hemisphere, we see power outages are of the past. What are you seeing in terms of these temperature excursions in refrigerators? Any trends that you can talk to?
You're on mute, JP.
Did we lose JP? JP, we can't hear you.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I was saying that as a modern country, people may think that we do not have that many, disruptions in the grid, and there's not so many events that will lead to power disruptions or disconnections of the grid, but they are actually increasing. And we've seen since 2022, there's been more natural events like big fires, heavy storms, hurricanes, or the remnants of hurricanes and tornadoes, and the quantity seems to increase, and this leads to prolongated offline periods. So as you can see on that slide, the picture on the left shows the Toronto and the Montreal area, the metropolitan areas. There's millions and millions of people in those sectors, and it's a well-served sector with the power grid, but still we're getting power outages, and they can last for a day, they can last typically between 6 to 8 hours, and it's sufficient. It's a sufficiently severe disruptor so that everybody panics. Everybody that has temperature-sensitive goods has to run to their pharmacies, just like Dor explained. It's the same thing here. And everybody was looking for a solution, and Apollo panel came to light, and everybody understood the benefit of having a reliable and very effective solution for keeping the drugs between the desired temperature threshold.
Excellent. Thanks, JP. Because we believe these days that with the technology improving, advancing so much that power outages don't happen. However, this is actually increasing. From what I hear from you, the trend is increasing, even if it is for a short time. These power outages are increasing for whatever reason, right? And natural calamities being number one on your list. So those are good trends, and you said, yeah, this is where the Apollo panel came in handy. So I'm going to switch to Dor. So Dor, given the trends of these power outages and people throwing away medicines, and I'm sure you have several case studies you can talk through. What sort of drove the need? I mean, alternative technologies. I mean, people can do generators. They can put up backup generators, right? And so, how did you come about in pioneering this effort in Israel in terms of meeting this gap or bridging this temperature gap per se in pharmacies? Can you tell us a little bit about a specific case study and how you got this product in position there?
Yeah, so it basically two questions. First, is there any alternatives, and second, how we put it all together. So, in terms of alternatives, yeah, our clients can and they are putting generators and UPS just across the refrigerator. But we always remind them that generators and UPS doesn't mean anything if the compressor has a problem. So you can put 10 UPSs, right, or 10 generators, but it won't do anything. That's the first thing. And second thing is about it is that I won't finish the sentence, but Murphy is. So every time a power outage occurs, there's something with the generators or the UPS that just they don't work. I mean, they do sometimes work, but sometimes they forgot to put gasoline inside, and sometimes someone took the refrigerator to another inlet of where the UPS is not working there. So what's the best thing with Apollo panels that it's for both cases, for both power outage, but also for problems in the refrigerator itself. So this is a huge thing for our customers. That's the for your first question. For the second question, proving the technology to our customers is fairly, I won't say easy, because anyone that is here knows that business is not easy, but it's very quickly. Okay, it's very quickly. All you need to do is put the panels in the refrigerator, basically wait a couple of days and take it off the power, and let your customer to measure the exact temperature, because our customers they have these temperature sensors in place any case. So it's very quickly.
Great, thanks. So the gap here that we're trying to fill, the trend that you're seeing is, as these power outages happen, there is a need to maintain the temperature in the refrigerator or the freezer, at least for a certain amount of time until the power comes back. And that's where the biggest delta is, right? As you're seeing, by the time the generator comes on or the power comes back on, correct?
Yeah, exactly.
And and they throw away the medicines if it doesn't happen. I guess there's a policy and there's a regulatory requirement that if it doesn't come back, you have to throw away. And that's the wastage that we're talking about, the significant wastage, correct?
Yes, in Israel, for example, I don't know if it's the same in Canada, JP, but in Israel, the average length of a power outage is about 1 to 2 hours. So all we needed to do, and this is like 95% of the time, right? So all we needed to do is just fill that gap, as you said, Govi, to bring our customers the ease of mind. People got really scared that even during holidays, that something will happen, and all we needed to do is just have them like 3 hours of holding time, 3 maybe 4 hours. That's what they needed, and that's what we've done.
Excellent. Yeah, so JP, you mentioned, sometimes it can last even 6 to 8 hours in Canada. Can you comment on that? Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. So we don't get that many power issues, but when they do occur, they last for a long time. And sometimes we get bad snowstorms or ice storm. Power outages can last for a whole week. And that happened like a few times in the past 10 years, 10 to 15 years, actually. Winter times are the hardest, actually, on the power grid. But we've seen more events where the power will be down for a few hours, exceeding 4 to 6. And that's where the Apollo panel come in, because those generators or backup powers, they usually don't last that long. And but the Apollo panels, as we've tested it, can last up to 12 hours, which gives half a day of lead time for anybody to put in place, a mitigation plan.
So, thank you, JP. That's very helpful to give the context of why this is almost like an insurance policy for people, so that from a temperature perspective, right? That's what it sounds like. So the picture there you show on the right-hand side, I think the panel that fits into the refrigerator. Can you sort of start the conversation about the product itself and how is it effective, and what have your learnings have been in the past year? And then we can switch the same question to Dor as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the product itself is so simple, as you can see on the chart right there. So let's say an under-counter fridge, very typical fridge that every pharmacy, community pharmacy is equipped with, would put their specialty drugs inside. And without the panels, it will exceed 8 degrees Celsius within the first hour and go and stabilize at ambient temperature. So it gives no time to react, and basically a high risk for the temperature-sensitive products to meet excursions. So that's a lot of potential wastage. But as soon as you put in the energy panels, then, as you can see, temperature now will remain below 8 degrees Celsius for 12 hours, which will give plenty of time for anybody to react. And also, as you are equipped, any pharmacist is equipped with, let's say, temperature monitoring. It can also be witnessed from a distance. So, you install the panels, but how do you make sure that it's actually within limits, right? Still under 8 degrees Celsius. You just have to look at on your phone or any computer, and then with the data that you see, you'll feel safe. And it's so simple. The installation is just a 2-step process where you condition the panel 2 degrees below the transition point, and then you let it sit there for a little while until the temperature of the panel changes from a dark purple to a light purple, and that's it. And it recharges itself as soon as the power is back and the compressor kicks in.
Yeah, and thanks, JP. And you talked about this under cabinet refrigerator. Dor actually also talked about variety of products in here. So Dor, you talk a little bit about what your experience has been, and here's a chart that you're showing here in terms of the performance of the temperature with and without panel. Can you address the question in terms of the applicability of the panels? And you may be on mute, by the way.
Yeah, sorry for that. Basically, you see the same thing as you saw with JP's graph. This is a graph for a third grade. Okay, all you see here is 2 sensors. It's the same fridge, by the way, different same type of fridge. Say the orange line is a fridge without panels. The green line is a fridge with panels. What we did is we tried to address the 95% of failures here in Israel, as I told, is only for 1 to 2 hours, and you see that a refrigerator without any panels is even 40 minutes. Sometimes we saw even as less as 20 minutes by the time it exceeds 8 degrees Celsius, which is the limit, obviously. So it's nothing. I mean, even if the pharmacist is Superman, he won't get there on time. But with panels, we've been able to let it rise to 8 degrees only 5 hours after the failure occurred. So this is what they really hoped for, and basically that's what you see here. Obviously, we can. There's a question that immediately you can ask why we in Israel have 5 hours and JP has 12 hours holdover time. Obviously, it depends on how many panels you put in the refrigerator. We decided to put say the right amount for the specific problem that we have here in Israel, and that's why it is 5 hours. It can go, as JP mentioned, up to 12 hours. But a good thing here is that basically you can tailor your solution to the customer's problem. So it's not one product fits all. You can actually decide how to solve your customer problem, and it is very, very important.
Yeah. So thank you, Dor. That's very helpful. So to give the range and also understand the buffer that the customers need for the temperature, right? To give them the extra time. Talk a little bit about the experience with the panels themselves, the product, and installing it. And I know both you and JP have repeatedly said it's very straightforward, for the installation. Give us an example of the working with a customer, a pharmacy, of how this proceeded, because you just want to make sure this is real life examples of how we proceeded, how you proceeded, and then we can also talk a little bit same thing about Canada as well. So talk a little bit about the customer. I think you may have a couple of slides to cover that too.
Yeah, sure. So we started the process in Israel with the panels back in 2019, which is almost 4 years ago. So at first, people are skeptical. It's the nature of human beings, right? So the process of make them believe is fairly easy. All you need to do is ask them to give a refrigerator for 4 days. That's it, and you go to that specific refrigerator. You put the panels inside. You wait for a couple of days to let the panel absorb to be in the right temperature inside the refrigerator, which is 2 to 8. That's the regulator here in Israel, but also everywhere. And after 2 days, all you need to do is cut off the power from the refrigerator, and the customer will see in their systems the results, which is nothing more stronger than that. You don't need to bring some third party or experts. It's really, really easy. And after that, they understand that, okay, there's something here, and basically they immediately start to implementing the solution in the refrigerators. And once you have a first believer and a first market leader, say, the next steps are again fairly quickly. And obviously it's a B2B process, so we know the selling process can be quite long, but with this product it's not, because it's really, really quickly to show the customer the benefits.
If you're able to show the impact with the panels, without the panels, you're saying without the shelves, you can show that result right away, correct? You're saying it's very quick.
Yes, yeah. Exactly.
Excellent. Thanks, Joe. Thank you. I want to switch. That's very helpful, by the way. Just to, sometimes we say simple is may not work. In this case, simplicity is actually working quite well in terms of design and how you've been able to go forward. JP, from a trial pilot customer acceptance perspective, what's your experience been in Canada? And you may also want to expand. I know we've shown a couple of different sizes of refrigerators, but also how applicable is this for freezers as an example? Because that's the other thing we want to talk about as well.
Yeah, so that's a very good point. So we're only talking about 2 and 8 degrees Celsius panels products because they have a very narrow threshold to respect. But specialty drugs with a below 0C between -25 to -15 is also a tight threshold to handle. And we've tested that with the panels again, and we were able to reach 17 hours, and that was exceptional. And those we tested that in upright freezers, 1, 3, 2 doors, pharma grade or medical grade. But if I were to just step back and then talk about the process here, how we onboard let's say new clients, it's just the same way as Dor said. They need a proof of concept. It's all new to everyone, so they have to believe, they have to see it themselves before they adopt the solution, and that's what we had to do across the country through a lot of different equipment. And it's a question of thermal mass, so the longer you'll get by the increased mass that you put in, so the more panels you put in. And then it was just a matter of sending a few samples, panels across the country, having the client install it so he knows how easy it is, and then conditioning the panels at the right temperature, which is also very easy and within tolerance, within the 2 and 8 degrees Celsius. Let it condition for, let's say, overnight, because it doesn't really take that much time. And then when the color changes occur, then unplug. And then, like Dor said, they would have their own measurement system, and then they would log data. They would have their records to show that it's a very, very useful. It works magic. It's wonderful. And we attended 2 trade shows with all the pharmacists in the Quebec province, and also the CAPDM, which is the Canadian supply chain group in the pharma sector. And we had a little fridge and all set up just to show everybody how it works, and everybody was very attracted by that solution because they've never seen this before.
Yeah, thanks, JP. Thank you. I had a couple of questions from the the audience as well. One was, are these panels affixed in the side, or can it be placed when needed? Do either of you have an opinion about it? Is it can it be affixed in the side, or can it be placed when needed? They're 2 different questions, actually.
Dor, you want to take this one?
Yeah, sure. So it's a very good question. Basically, the main reason that our customers wanted the panels is that they won't need to do anything while the power outage occur. So yes, it can be, to your question, but I think our customers, to talk on behalf of them, are preferring to have them fixed in the refrigerator. So in case of something bad happen, they don't need to do anything. Also, it's very important to remember that during power outages, in Israel at least, the regulation declared that you cannot open the door, because when you do open the door, huge amount of hot air is getting inside the refrigerator, and it will bring your temperature up. So in that case, I would basically leave them in.
So Dor, I think to your point, I think Mohammed's question about putting it when needed, I mean, it's like insurance, right? When it's there, it does its piece automatically, and it also needs charging at the right temperature. So by being there, it gets charged and ready to act. When the temperature goes up, it acts, keeps the temperature at the same level. So putting it in when the power goes out means that you'll have to charge it outside, more cumbersome. So simplistic answer is it's like an insurance policy. Put it in place, it works like a charm. So that's one thing. And then the second part of it was the concept of putting it aside. Between Dor and JP and several tests that we have done, we found the best placement of these are under the shelves. So as you saw in one of the pictures, I'll show you again as well. That's one of the decisions that we have made, is to provide airflow, to provide good, effective use of the BioPCM panels, smart polar panels, is to actually put it in that. So that's a couple of answers there. We also had another question in terms of panels and leaks in the panels. Have you any experience of leaks in BioPCM from the panels that either of you have installed at this point? I mean, you've been doing it for 4 to 5 years in leaks in the refrigerators.
Yeah, so it's
oh, sorry, JP, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, we haven't done it for as long as, let's say, Dor has done it. I would say the only moment where it can potentially leaks is if you drop it on the floor. It doesn't leak once it's installed. It doesn't move. There's no potential physical damage that can be done. The only thing that you can break and have this panel leak is if you take it and you drop it.
And if you break the seal, essentially, if it breaks the seal.
Yeah, it's the only way to break it and make it leak.
It's an HDPE panel. So, Dor, did you have any comments on that?
Basically, the same. We do recommend our customer because they bringing medicines inside and outside the refrigerator. We have like a brochure on how to install the panels. So we tell them that the lid will be in the inner side of the refrigerator. Therefore, when it's there, nothing is gonna happen. So they won't touch or break the lid, even not by an accident. So.
Yeah, excellent. Well, thank you so much. Appreciate that, Dor and JP. Another question that came up from the audience is this only for reach-in refrigerators and freezers, or is there a potential to also use this in cold storage units? And the product that we're talking about here in its form is designed for shelves for refrigerators and freezers or walls of these panels. We also have applications with other OEMs. I think, Brandon, it's your question, that it can be applied for cold storage units also. The concept is the same about thermal mass, and the form factor can be varied to fit thermal storage units. So and there is a rule of thumb for the thermal mass, depending upon how much cooling, because each panel has a energy storage capacity, and we need to figure out how much to put in, depending upon what area you're trying to cool and what's the payload inside and how much it moves in and out, how many times the doors open. And we do all the modeling from a PCS perspective to help our clients understand that the need for thermal mass and then the form factor. So just kind of give you a quick answer there. And just kind of continuing on, in the process here, in the examples that you talked about, Dor and JP, what was the customer reaction when the data was there and when you actually showed them the temperature, actually the curves, right? Can you comment on either of those pilots that actually stand out in your mind in order to create that kind of a appreciation for the product and the solution? Dor, do you want to go first? Yeah.
Yeah, sure. So at first, as I said, customers in the beginning they are all skeptical, and then they see the results reflecting in their own systems. So it's really for us, it was really important not to measure in the pilots that we did, to let the customers measure. It's stronger. It brings more integrity to the table and trust. So they measured everything. They saw the results, and I even got a hug from a pharmacist because she said that I would change her life, because she was always worried about losing the medicines and what the board above would say about it. It was a professional hug, okay, but it was really a good thing for them to have, and from there, it's just the process of selling, but you do get to this point of sale fairly quickly.
JP?
Yeah, so I would say that all of our clients were ecstatic about the results that they got themselves during their pilot projects or just the proof of concept projects. They had to see the results for themselves because it's all new. It's we have to educate people into understanding what the Apollo panels are and how what are the benefits. Talking about benefits, I know we talk about the temperature holdover when the panels are installed, but it also increases temperature uniformity across the storage or the space inside an equipment such as a refrigerator or a freezer. But in the case of a freezer, we've seen a reduced amount of defrost cycles during a given period of time, indicating that the whole refrigeration system is less demanded. There's less request for cold air. I'm sorry, I'm French. And we've seen a lot of other benefits. And also, in a pharmacy, they open the door all the time during a single day. And this usually creates, spikes in the temperature, sporadic excursions. And having the panels inside provides more thermal inertia and reduces the speed at which temperature will rise during those door openings. And this has a lot of values to all the pharmacy owners.
Okay. Thanks, JP. Thank you. Appreciate that. There's also a question from the audience about time. I mean, analysis of the loss of capacity of these panels over time and usage. And I know both of you have been installing it. I think the longest time has been 4.5 years. Our analysis, just to kind of give you an idea, the thermal stability of the Apollo panels far exceeds the shelf life of a refrigerator. It's in tens of thousands of cycles. So that was secondary implication, third implication. You can change your refrigerator, keep your shelves, keep your panels, use it in the next refrigerator because it exceeds the life of a refrigerator itself. So just going to give you that idea. Also, just kind of give an idea about the customers, JP. And I know there's a presentation in there. What is the challenge that you face in terms of, it's such a wonderful product. I mean, you've demonstrated how effective it is so far. So I'd like to get two different perspectives in terms of, what's the challenge? And you started alluding to that, JP, in terms of educating people. It works like a charm. It's phenomenal. So what challenges do you face in your local markets? And we'll switch to Dor as well to talk about challenges there.
Yeah, so that's a very good question. So in our case in Canada, I think people still have to feel the pain of power outages to really jump on the solution. Sometime when you deal with a large corporation, a pharmacy chain, if at the corporate level, they don't really see how often this occurs or the damages don't get to their attention, then this will become a continuous improvement project, and it may take a very long time before they adopt the solution, even if we've proved how good this is and how cheap it is compared to a backup generator or a backup battery. Our clients, which are keen to adopt, are the pharmacists themselves, the pharmacy owners, the people that are on the field that know that feel the pain like right away as soon as a power outages occur. And that's the paradigm that we need to shift, is that you should not wait until it's too late to adopt this solution. You should be on a preventive action more than a corrective action.
Yeah. And JP, then this also applies if you talk about preventive action from being proactive as an insurance from having to throw away from expensive pharmaceuticals or not. It also applies to larger formats, right? Like the ones that you're showing in the picture here, in terms of being able to preserve. It's not just a small refrigerators or single, it says multiple formats here as well that you're experimenting with, and freezers, correct?
That's right. And even this can also apply. So some of our clients, they have walk-in coolers, let's say walk-in freezers, larger units, and in there they will have rolling shelves, right? Like cage shelves. This can be installed there as well, right? So if the power grid goes out and generator runs out of diesel, then this will kick in and give you another extra 12 to 10 to even 20 hours, depending on how much mass you put in there.
So it's about education and getting the word out, from your perspective in Canada. Dor, what about the challenges you face? This product seems amazing. It is amazing. It works like a charm. Form factor can fit in, multiple refrigerators, freezers, different sizes. What challenges do you face in your market?
I completely agree with Jean-Paul here. I think the first thing that you need to get from the customer is the approval from his or her side that they have a problem. If they have a problem, then the selling process would be, as I said, fairly quickly. But they need to admit at first that they having this problem, because sometimes it's not only the cost of the medicine, or the medicine, sorry. It's the everything from front and behind the medicines. It's if you had a loss in a pharmacy, then you need to take these medicines and put them aside and bring new medicines. And it's shipping things from one part of the country to the other part, and you have all the handlings and the spoilage. So it's not only the direct cost of the medicine. So at first, what we're doing here is bring the customer to a point that they are admitting that they're having a problem. And sometimes, yes, sometimes we see it in hospitals more, that in hospital they have people on call. When people on call, they start thinking, do we need this solution or not? Because if something occurred, then people on call can go and fix it. So with hospitals, it's a longer sell process. So I completely agree with JP that with pharmacies all over Israel, it's a much simpler way to sell it. But we do sell to hospitals as well. It's just a little bit longer.
And thanks, Dor. That's helpful in terms of education, etc. So the concept of doing this pilots, right, with either hospitals or pharmacies that you talked about before, actually gets this, going with, people that's a way of educating people as well. So JP, you've done these pilots, and you're in the process of doing several here as well. Can you talk to some successes that you've had in demonstrating the use case with clients?
For sure. So the one you're showing right now is one. One of our clients has over 120 clinics across the country and 12, provincial pharmacies in a large distribution. It's an integrated pharma distributor and stuff. And they use everything that we do, right? From all the services and solutions we have to offer those. So that's why the measurements are coming from our system. But we presented the Apollo panels, and the clinics, the nurses, they were ecstatic about the solution, because they were most of the clinics are in very remote areas that are not well served by the power grid, so they get more power outages, or they get it more often, right? And they had to do just like Dor explained. It's like they took one fridge, we shipped the panel, they did everything themselves, not even us. We gave them a few set of instructions, which is only 3 steps, and they did this test themselves, and they saw with their own eyes that it works wonderful, right? But now it's at a corporate level, and the decision is taking a long time before they adopt the solution, because right now it's a very fast-growing company. They manage a lot of different other projects, with our priority right now. And I think we're going to have to wait until the next big power outage before they remember that, oh yeah, we have this, we need to implement this across the country now. And it will become an urgent matter, which it doesn't, we're okay with this, but sometimes that's what's happening, right? It's, if everything has been stable for a while, they kind of forget that it's an issue. And if we had a lot of micro outages, all the time, every month, it would be a more severe issue, I would guess, for them, and then they would act quicker.
Excellent. Yeah, thanks, JP. Thank you. And given that this is a pioneering effort, I'm afraid you're having to do a lot of the education, right, in your own markets. It's not like, there's tons of competition in here. We are, of course, competing with lack of knowledge, lack of awareness, and you're trying to educate people as we go about here. Can you talk a little bit about and we'll start with Dor, maybe a little bit about the differentiation that you offer to your customers, Dor, that differentiates this even with this challenge? How do you actually are able to get to the customer? I know the product is amazing. It speaks in BioPCM is spectacular. Apollo panels works every time. How do you now take this and how have you differentiated yourself in sort of growing that? You've done an amazing job with growth in Israel. Can you talk a little bit about that, about how you differentiated Znergy's leverage of this product in the marketplace?
Yeah, sure. It's for us. I would say it's fairly easy because in Israel we are in a blue ocean. So basically, just to give you a little detail about that, in Israel we have 4 we call it HMOs, Health Maintenance Organizations. So which each and every citizen must be insured by one of them. So these are kind of like semi-under government organizations. So in order to sell them in large quantities, you need to go through a tender process, and it is always funny for me because they're always placing a tender, and we always the only ones who will apply. So it's like something that you have to go through, but we are in a blue ocean. I mean, our competitors are the generators and the backup batteries that out there. And as I said, because the generators and backup batteries does not work with compressors issues, and we also have it here. Obviously, everyone has it. It's a mechanical equipment, right? So we just we are all alone here in Israel, and it's very good for us.
While on the topic of alternatives, you talked about backup batteries and generators. Do you get a sense from your customers so how does the value proposition of a Apollo panel from a cost perspective, vary from a generator or a backup battery?
Yeah, sure. So a generator is much more expensive, and also backup batteries. And the thing with these two solutions, they do work most of the times, but they do need and they do require maintenance. And that's another thing. I mean, these are huge organizations, right? And huge organization, the last thing that they want is to add another thing to their bucket list to do each and every month, So so a passive solution that works for both grid problems, but also for compressor problem, it's king for their perspective, because they don't need to do anything. They don't need to check the gasoline inside the generators. They don't need to check the backup batteries each and every month. It's just there.
Excellent. Thanks. Thank you so much again, Dor. Appreciate that. And I'll sort of wrap up here, because the idea of providing insurance to companies is with a solution that actually requires no maintenance is brilliant. And as you've just explained it, the cost of a generator and a backup system is quite expensive. And one of the points you just referred, and JP, you talked about this as well, that the Apollo panel does not have any maintenance requirement. You fix it, and you can actually repurpose this for your next refrigerator. Because as we said before, our testing of BioPCM, the thermal capacity, extends for several tens of thousands of cycles. So this is a long life product that you can install that will outlast your refrigerator. And the cost of failure of electricity in the refrigerator, your throwaway medicines, I guess once or twice will pay for the cost of the of the panels itself. Yeah, excellent. Thank you for Dor and JP. Thank you so much for sharing this wealth of information. And I know the both of you have been, and your teams have been pioneering this effort in the marketplace. And we're absolutely excited and thrilled to sort of work with you and partner with you as we improve the characteristics of BioPCM as we're going to a more shape-stable product, right? So even if it breaks, as you said, JP, the next generation, there won't be any leaks because it's actually a shape-stable product. So we're making improvements on the technology and on the form factors. And with your help, I'm sure we'll be able to save a ton of dollars in medicines. And we haven't even talked about the wastage that this creates. But one is you're throwing away the medicines and availability. Second one is all the plastics, that go into the waste stream that we are avoiding by preventing these failures. So this is, extremely pioneering effort from your side. I think we're running out of time here for questions. If anybody has any other points you want to make, closing comments here, Dor, and then I'll go to JP as well.
No, I want to thank you again for inviting us, Znergy here, and thank you for partnership for the past 9 years. And if anyone here in the audience have a question for me, so I would love to answer now or later. And thank you.
Very nice. Likewise, it was a pleasure participating in this webinar. I think it's crucial to have these open discussions about the Apollo panels as we bring more awareness to the solution and as we can as possible. And like Dor showed over the past years, I think we feel everybody needs Apollo panels. It will save them a lot of hassle. And it has a lot of financial impact and also just ensure potency of the products and really just help patients at the end of the day. And Dor has been very successful in doing this, and we're trying to do the same here in Canada. We just got to educate.
Thanks, JP. Thank you. And these webinars help in educating as well, and as we get feedback. The two of you have been doing a stellar job, so we appreciate all your efforts, so thank you. And also to all our participants and people who joined the webinar, we'll be sharing the recording as well as the slides, and also contact information for JP and Dor, so you can reach out to them as well. This is about increasing awareness. So, and these two gentlemen have been doing an amazing job in the marketplaces, and so we take feedback from them. So we'll be willing to take other feedback as well. There's one last question about have we installed this in large food storage facilities, and the quick short answer is yes, we have. It's a great extension of an application. If you can apply it for pharmaceuticals, we can apply it for food as well. So it's a great extension. So that's one of the things that we're looking forward is for solutions to actually work, especially in emerging countries where power outages are more frequent and more often. Like we heard from JP, even in Canada and here in the US as well, natural calamities are increasing these things. So we're getting up for production in different parts of the world. So thank you again, Dor and JP. Really appreciate your sharing your insight. And thank you all for all of the participants and people who came onto the webinar. Have a wonderful day and be safe, everyone. Yeah. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.